Hey guys, I'm Chesh and I'm Shaking. Today I'm gonna teach you how to do screen printing. Look at this design I did. Isn't it beautiful? Oh, there's a mosaic filter on it, so you watch more of this video. Sorry. So you know how I learn things. I just watch hours upon hours of YouTube videos. So that's what I did. You guys can do this in under $300. Can you believe it? That does sound expensive. But for like opening up a new business, not too bad. I'm gonna be the new American Perel. My name is Yotam Perel! So how this works generally is you get a screen. It's a mesh screen. You put photo emulsion on it. You let it dry. Then you expose it with an image on top of it. Then you wash it out and boom, you got a screen. That's the main gist of it. So you're gonna be seeing me do that a million times during this video. So come on down. I'll show you how to make a shirt. With a voiceover. It'll be fascinating for you. Okay, so I started out by downloading and printing what they call an exposure sheet. What that is a thing that tells you how long you should expose your screens for. I printed 2 copies on transparent paper because one copy is usually a little too opaque. You can kind of see through the black, so if you take 2 of them and line them up nicely, I think it works better. And then I got this thing called photo emulsion. That's the thing you coat the screen with. You put it in a coater, and the most fun part of this entire process is coating the screen. Look at this. So you coat the screens trying to make like an even thin layer, and then you dry them out face down in some dark space. I put like 2 little pieces of wood there so I can dry it without it, touching the shelf. I coated 2 screens and let them dry. And then I took the remaining photo emulsion, tried to put it back into the thing. You should be doing this in like a light sensitive place where there isn't much light, but I don't know, it works for me. I washed the things out and then it was time to expose. Oh, am I not teaching you anything? I'm sorry. Okay, so look. Over here is the UV light. I bought it off of Amazon. I saw a bunch of reviews for it. It works well. I got these 2 dumb clamps for way too much. You can buy them for like $4. I clamped it up there. There's like 12 inches between the light and the screen. The screen I put on some box with some black paper on it. This is all very shittily made, but it seems to work. I take the exposure calculator, I place it on the screen. You should place it flipped. And I also got a little piece of glass to put on the design so none of the light gets trapped between the transparent paper and the screen itself, so it's like flush against it. For the first test, I did 5-second increments. So I expose it for 5 seconds, take a little black piece of paper, cover a little bit of the chart, and do another 5-second exposure, and that didn't really work out. As you can see, it fully washed out. If you don't expose your screen for long enough, everything will get washed out. If you expose it for too long, it'll be like really tough to wash out. So the 5-second test didn't work, so I took my photo emulsion remover and cleaned up the screen with my bare hands, and then felt the stinging sensation that I did not enjoy, so I put on gloves and washed it out and let it dry. Took my other screen, and this time I did like 15-second increments. And I also put my hand directly into the UV light, which I don't think is good. That also tingled. So don't do that. But after that I washed out the screen, and this time it turned out a little better. It gave me more results I can actually do something with. And if I think 8 or 9 looks the best, which means it should be between like 2 minutes, 2:15. I got a little microphone here. So after figuring out the exposure, I coated some screens once more, let them dry, and I wanted to figure out which one of these designs I'm gonna try. The third one is a 2-color design, so I don't know, I wasn't sure if I was gonna be able to do it. I ended up picking the little bat and bird design and expose it. I washed it out and it looked pretty good. So here's the first print test I attempted. I covered up one of the designs, put in some black ink on my little screen, take my squeegee, flood it, and then squish it. And it turned out pretty good. Like, the halftones work well. Those are the little dots. Usually it's a technique reserved for screens with larger mesh. My screens are 110 mesh, which is like the basic one. But if you want more details, you should probably get like a 200 mesh, 250 mesh screen. So I did some more tests trying to figure out how many times I should be pressing it. Like, sometimes if I squeegeed it, I'm not sure, that can't be the word. If I squeegeed 2 times, it would be too dark and like the design will bleed a little. So I was happy with how it turned out. I wanted to reserve the rest of the ink and also attempt a 2-color design. So I coated some more goddamn screens. I let them dry, I expose them, I wash them. First screen turned out nice, it's just the outline. Then I exposed the other screen, but the other screen was a little dirty. You can see right here, there's some buildup of mask fluid, which made it really hard to wash out. So I really had to go at it for a while, so a bunch of the design kind of tore a little bit from being overworked by the water. Nonetheless, I attempted my 2-color design. I got some more paints from Spitballs. I wanted to do blue and black. So I opened up this package. It was very great, a very fun unpackaging experience. I put in the blue, I flood, I do a print. Now this is where I messed up. Usually if you want to align 2 screens, you gotta have a machine to do that. That's like made to align things perfectly. I barely measured anything doing this. I just kind of eyeballed everything. And I think eyeballing these things doesn't seem to work. Cause look how this turned out. Like, if it was aligned, could have looked nice, but I just couldn't. I didn't have the proper tools to make it work. I attempted it again and failed. At which point I kind of said, okay, I think 2-color designs is a little too much for me. I got a piece of wood. Oh my god, I felt so manly getting a piece of wood. It felt great. I'm also reusing these clamps. I can't tell you how much I love clamps. Clamps are great. It makes the world modular. I like it. So I got a piece of wood and some clamps, and I drilled in the little screen printing clamps I got from Amazon. And I tried to put a shirt on it. And figured out, yeah, this is not great. Too much of the fabric bunches up over here. So the screen can't properly touch the board itself. So I took a ruler, did some measurements where I want to cut out the wood, and then I did a few more paper tests with it connected to the clamps, and it seems to work. Look at these bad boys. They're so bad. So I got the board cut by a real man. He charged like 15 bucks. I don't know if I was ripped off or not. And I attempted to do a little business print, just the outline. So now there's a place where I can pull in the shirt, but it was still bunching up. It was still not great placement, and I wasn't sure what to do, so I just went ahead with it. I flooded the screen. I did a swoosh. I did 2 passes and it didn't seem like enough. I did another pass. It was okay. It was pretty off center. And some of the halftones, because I went over it a few times, some of them were darker than the others. And usually, in order to cure these, you're supposed to heat them up. So I got this little blow heater to dry it up. It seems to work, so I attempted another shirt. This time I tried to squeegee it with one foul swoop, but some of it didn't go well, so I had to do another one. And then it was too dark again. But as far as the quality, it does look nice. Like, everything is pretty crisp, but it's still very much off-centered. Eventually I realized that this screen I did wasn't great for a shirt just because of the placement of the design. It's like too low on the screen, so I decided to reclaim that screen and cover it once again with my new batch of photo emulsion, because I ran out of the first one. This shit runs out quick. So yeah, you take this little bottle, fill it halfway, mix it with the blue thing a bunch, and then you let it like rest for an hour, let all the bubbles come out, because bubbles can really mess up a screen. And then I did some more screens. This time I just did the top half because I know the design is really small. I didn't want to waste emulsion. Coated another screen just in case, and I let them dry. I used the clamps to hang up the light again. This time I more carefully placed the design on the screen. I actually measured it out and everything, make sure it's aligned nicely. I exposed it for 2 minutes and 15 seconds, washed it out, and voila! It looks good. So I wanted to test it on a shirt. I connected it to the screen, clamped it up, put in some black colors, put in a little shirt on it, flooded it, and I did 2 passes, dried it out, and just continued doing more presses. I just kind of tested how many passes I need to give it and like in what kind of force in order to make it work. So I figured out that if I put my knee under it as I do the thing, it works better. So I started doing that. I also did some tests in red on the same shirt just to see how everything works and looks. And it looks pretty good, I think. So I had one design, I wanted to have another one, like a larger one, so I drew up a thing in Photoshop. I printed it on transparent paper, did the whole double up thing. And when you're exposing your screen, make sure the design is flipped, because once you print it, it'll be right side. That's a sentence. So I washed the screen out, and as you can see there's a little dirt on the screen, which made the washing part a little tough. So the design wasn't perfect, but it was enough to test out. And besides the little mess ups, I think it looks pretty good. Like the halftones look nice. And that was enough for me to try it on a t-shirt. I did another exposure, I washed it out, it looks good, dried it. Now I also moved the clamps on my board a little lower on the board because they were a little too far and the design was kind of off center. And once I did that, there was also like more space for the shirt to pop out, so now it doesn't bunch up as much, which is good. Put in the black collar, do a flood, squish it down, dry it up, and it looks pretty good, I think. So the design works, it looks nice. And do you want to buy them? Because I'm gonna sell them to you, I think. Did you guys learn a thing? I don't know, I never know if I'm a good teacher. I just follow tutorials until I figure things out, and it seems to work out. I might have some shirts up for sale, I don't know, but if I do, here they are. And if I don't, goodbye.